Hello, we're excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Welcome back to the English Journey. Today, we are opening the door to the global job market. I'm Anna.
And I'm Abel. Working from home is the future, but to get that dream remote job, you need the right professional English. Let's get started.
Abel, before we talk about interviews, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a remote job interview?
Yes, I have, Anna, and I will be honest with you, the first time was terrible. I was sitting in my kitchen, the lighting was bad, my camera was pointing up at the ceiling, and my dog was barking in the background. It was not my best moment.
That is actually a very common experience, and that is exactly why we are starting today's episode with virtual first impressions. When you walk into a physical office for an interview, you think about your clothes, your handshake, and your body language. But in a remote interview, the rules are different. Your first impression starts with your screen.
That is so true. So, Anna, what are the most important things to think about before the interview even begins?
Great question. There are three main things. Number one is your camera position. Number two is your lighting. And number three is your audio quality. Let's start with the camera. Abel, where should your camera be?
I learned this the hard way. Your camera should be at eye level. That means it should be at the same height as your eyes. If your camera is too low, the interviewer is looking up at your chin. If it is too high, they are looking down at the top of your head. Neither of these is professional.
Exactly. And here's a very important tip about eye contact. In a face-to-face meeting, you look at the other person's eyes. But in a video call, if you look at the person's face on your screen, it actually looks like you are looking down. To make real eye contact in a virtual interview, you need to look directly at the camera lens.
That feels very unnatural at first, but it makes a huge difference.
It really does. Now, let's talk about lighting. You do not need expensive equipment. The simplest solution is to sit facing a window during the daytime. Natural light on your face is the best option. You should never sit with a window behind you because that creates a shadow on your face, and the interviewer cannot see you clearly.
And what about audio, Anna? I think this is the one that people forget about the most.
You are absolutely right. You can have perfect lighting and a great camera angle, but if the interviewer cannot hear you clearly, you will not get the job. I always recommend using headphones with a built-in microphone. They do not need to be expensive. Even simple earphones are better than using your laptop's built-in microphone, because laptop microphones pick up a lot of background noise.
These are excellent tips. Now let's move to the actual interview. Anna, there is one question that almost every interviewer asks. It's the famous "tell me about yourself" question. Why is this question so important in a remote job interview?
This question is your opportunity to make a strong first impression with your words. In a remote job interview, your answers should be slightly different from a regular interview. You want to show the interviewer that you are not only good at your job, but that you are also good at working independently, from a distance. Let me give you an example. Abel, pretend you are in an interview right now. How would you answer this question?
All right, I would say something like this. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Abel. I'm a marketing specialist with 5 years of experience in digital campaigns. For the last 2 years, I've been working remotely with teams across 3 different time zones. I'm self-motivated, I have strong time management skills, and I'm very comfortable using tools like Slack, Zoom, and project management platforms like Asana. I'm looking for a role where I can continue to grow while contributing to a global team.
That was excellent, Abel. Let me explain why that answer works so well. You mentioned three very important keywords for remote work. The first one is self-motivated. This means you can work without someone watching you or telling you what to do every minute. You have the internal drive to complete your tasks. The second keyword is time management. This means you know how to organize your day, meet your deadlines, and balance multiple projects. A deadline, for those who are learning this word, is the final date or time when something must be finished. The third keyword is reliable. This means people can trust you. When you say you will do something, you do it. These three qualities are what every remote employer is looking for.
I also mentioned working across time zones. That's another important concept in remote work. When your team is spread across the world, some people are starting their morning while others are finishing their evening. This is where two important terms come in. Anna, can you explain them?
Of course. The first term is synchronous communication. This is a word that sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. Synchronous communication means talking at the same time. A video call is synchronous. A phone call is synchronous. You are both present and speaking in the same moment. The second term is asynchronous communication. This means communicating at different times. An email is asynchronous. A message on Slack is asynchronous. You send it and the other person reads it and responds later when it's convenient for them. In remote work, asynchronous communication is very common because team members are often in different time zones.
Those are great explanations. Now, Anna, I want to talk about something that every remote worker fears: technical problems during an interview. What happens when your internet connection drops, or the video freezes, or the audio cuts out? This happened to me once, and I completely panicked. I didn't know what to say in English.
This is such an important topic because technical problems will happen. They happen to everyone. The key is to stay calm and have some professional phrases ready. Let me give you some useful expressions. If you can't hear the interviewer, you can say, "I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble with my audio. Can you hear me clearly?" If your video freezes, you can say, "It seems like my connection is unstable. Would you mind if I turn off my video for a moment to improve the audio quality?" If you lose the connection completely and need to rejoin, you can say, "I apologize for the disconnection. Thank you for your patience. Shall we continue where we left off?"
Those phrases are so helpful. I want to repeat them for our listeners. Can you hear me clearly? This is a simple and polite way to check if your audio is working. My connection is unstable. The word unstable means it is not steady. It keeps going up and down. And my personal favorite, shall we continue where we left off? This means, can we go back to the point where we stopped? It's very professional and very smooth.
Exactly. And here's one more important tip. If you know that your internet connection at home is not always strong, tell the interviewer at the beginning. You can say, "Before we begin, I want to let you know that my internet connection has been a little inconsistent today, so I apologize in advance if there are any interruptions." This shows the interviewer that you are professional, honest, and prepared.
That's a really smart strategy. It sets the right expectations from the start.
Abel, before we move on to part 2, let me share one final piece of advice about remote interviews. Many people focus only on answering questions, but they forget about asking questions. At the end of almost every interview, the interviewer will say, "Do you have any questions for us?" This is not the time to say no. You should always have at least 2 questions ready.
What kind of question should someone ask in a remote job interview?
Great questions for a remote interview include, what does a typical day look like for someone in this role? Or how does the team communicate on a daily basis? Is it mostly synchronous or asynchronous? Or even, what tools does the team use for project management and collaboration? These questions show that you are already thinking like a remote professional.
I love those examples. They show genuine interest in preparation. All right, everyone, that was part 1, all about mastering the remote job interview. In part 2, we're going to talk about something equally important: how to build your professional network online using LinkedIn and virtual meetings. Stay with us.